So you're thinking about buying a 2025 Z900 and you're thinking to yourself, damn, I don't have my license for that long. I don't have that much experience. Is this bike for me? Is this beginner friendly? Well, I've got a lot to say about it and we're going to talk about it in this video while I have some fun, and then we're going to come to a conclusion. So if you want to find out whether this bike is for you, even as a beginner, stay tuned. Let's go. So with the 2025 Z900, you get a plethora of, well, you have to actually close your bag, you know, like I always forget about closing my bag. I'm like bag paranoid. So with the 2025 Z900, you get so much. You get the whole package of safety systems, rider assistance systems, so many things that you definitely don't want to ignore, and these things definitely help making the 2025 model a much better beginner bike. But as with everything, there's some nuance to it. So let's figure out what things about this bike make it not beginner friendly. First and foremost, the 2025 model has shorter gears, so every gear that you're riding is much shorter, which also means it has more torque because of it. And torque, in my opinion, can be a murderer. You see a lot of videos of people like, you know, gripping the throttle and like ripping it open and then like shooting straight into a wall or into a tree or into the back of a car. And this is because they do not expect the power the bike can output. Okay? With the 25 model for the Z900, it has 124 horsepower and about 96 newton meters of torque. That is a lot, right? So it doesn't matter which gear you're in. If you're ripping the throttle, this thing shoots forward. Of course, I'm in 5th gear, so it's less now, but if I switch down and I go in 3rd gear and I rip open the throttle, this thing does 50 to 120 in like 2.5 seconds or something like that. It is fast. It is so fast. All right? So what you definitely want to watch out for is your throttle hand. You want to definitely practice a smooth throttle response. Never rip it unless you want to do wheelies in 1st gear. Be soft with it. It is ride-by-wire, so it is electronic, which means it doesn't have a cable pulley, and thus it is much more precise than if you're just doing a cable throttle. It basically senses where your throttle is and opens it incredibly smooth. This is also something that, in my opinion, is a fantastic feature for a beginner rider. And you know, that being said, with this bike, there really aren't many things that can go wrong, but it does have 124 horsepower. So I started on an SV650, which has 73 horsepower roundabout. Then I switched to a CBR 650R, which has 95 horsepower, or 93, 95. And I feel like my upgrade path was a very mature and very smooth one. If you're changing from a machine that has 50 horsepower or 48 horsepower to 124 horsepower, it can be really scary at the start, right? You, like even I, barely even rip open the throttle because, you know, running 1st gear, ripping open the throttle, you're already like illegal. So most of the time you don't really have any need to do that with this machine. So it's like any other bike. If you want to ride this at low speeds, the bike is an incredibly smooth ride and you never really feel like you don't have it under control. But it is definitely something that you want to watch out for, because especially with the shorter gears now and with the 124 horsepower, the 96 newton meter of torque, this thing blasts forward like crazy. as long as you practice riding and you're not cocky about it, okay, this thing does an amazing job of delivering you the most amazing experience one could ever ask for. So while editing, I actually realized that I didn't answer your question properly, so I'm sorry about that. Sometimes it can be difficult to remember things while writing. So you're asking whether or not it's easy to switch to this from a 125cc or occasional rides with an MT-07 C650, and my answer is yes, especially the latter. If you already rode a Z650, you pretty much know what it's like. It's just a lot more powerful, like a lot more powerful. It's almost double the power. The amount of features you get compared to the price is absolutely unbeatable, and this bike is fun to ride after work. It's fun for longer trips. My Italy trip was amazing. I never really had any issues with the bike whatsoever. Unfortunately, the only thing I can tell you is what the fuel consumption is for longer stable highway speeds. Usually I ride the bike at about 5 liters per 100 kilometers. So that's a reference value that you can go by. If you're riding highway in 6-speed, it's incredibly efficient. And the bike always shows a little icon in the screen if you're riding economically. With the 6-axis IMU, the cornering ABS, there are so many safety features that could save your ass if you're fucking up. But this doesn't. Safety features do not make a good rider. They help you become a good rider. You still need to put a lot of effort into becoming a better rider and respecting that machine you're on. The one thing this definitely has going for it, despite its power and its torque, is the fact that it is a naked bike, which means you don't have to focus on your body positioning, you don't have to focus on your wrist pain or your back pain and stuff like that. The bike is just allowing you to focus on what's essential, and that's the road and the traffic and everything ahead of you. So as long as you're good with that, you don't really have anything to worry about. And yeah, this is the place I usually ride in. This is where I like to take my twisties after work or something like that, but it seems like we have a shitload of traffic today, so I guess that's not happening. I think I actually recognize one of the guys. And there is a 2024 CBR 650R, which, as you know, it was my old bike, and it's still odd seeing someone ride it. But back to the Z900, I think for what it's worth, the amount of money you spend on it versus what you're getting is incredible. It is probably the best possible deal you could snag right now. It's $9,500 plus, you know, optional extras you might want to get and stuff like that. It's an insane deal. You got cruise control, you got quick shifter up and down, all of that jazz. You couldn't ask for more. You really couldn't. It's just so good. So let's have a little bit of fun here. It's been a while since I've been riding proper, you know, turns and corners and stuff like that, so forgive me if I'm a bit slow. I'm still getting used to, you know, getting back on the bike in Germany and stuff like that. When all you do is commute, you lose your ability to ride for a while. And after riding in Italy, I feel like I was such a good rider and nothing was ever an issue for me. I come back to Germany and I'm like, oh, is this a 20-degree corner? Will this kill me? I don't know, man. It is kind of like that, and it's weird to feel that, but you really need a lot of practice when riding, and that is with every bike. You know, small bikes have much more room for failure, because if you're ripping the throttle, the thing most of the time won't necessarily loop itself. With something like this in first gear, it does still have traction control, but you could kill yourself. And if you don't want to kill yourself, definitely look out for that. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm telling you. And that's always what's important. It doesn't matter how fast you're going, how deep you're going. What matters is the fact that you get home safe. And you can do that on any bike as long as you are a mature person about it. You really want to watch out for yourself. And that's, you know, the Z900 for you. It helps you, it saves you, and you know, it tickles your balls while you're going, because this thing is so much fun. It really makes you giggle all the time, you know. But yeah, man, what an enjoyable bike this is. I would say, if you're in the market for a motorcycle, whether it's a sports bike or a naked bike, please do me a favor, sit on this thing, ride it, be careful about it, and this thing is gonna make you have so much fun with your hobby. It's gonna just allow you to really get to the next level of your riding. And you know, one thing I'm kind of sad about with this bike in comparison to other bikes, especially sports bikes that are on the market now, the sports bikes like the CBR 650R, which is more expensive, or the Yamaha R7, all of these motorcycles, they don't even have close to the same features and technology as the Z900 does. I think cruise control can be optional. Yeah, most people probably won't use it. I use it all the time. I think it's fantastic. But the 6-axis IMU, cornering, ABS, and all of these things make your riding just safer. And I don't really think that you should buy any bike without a quick shifter and blipper anymore. If you've had a quick shifter and blipper once, that's the most fun you're ever gonna have on a motorcycle. Trust me. Like, in my entire Italy trip, I maybe used my clutch lever like 3 times during riding, only when I'm stopping, and it's just fantastic. The fact that you never really have to touch it at all. It's just so good. Man, I would have loved to take these a bit faster, but it's so hard to pass here. See, this is also one of the things, like, when I talk about riding safe and getting home safe, is it really worth risking your life trying to overtake someone in one of these twisties? Because you want to ride them fast? Is it really worth it? Oh man, you could just go back and do it again, but it's not worth risking your life for it. And it's like that with any motorcycle you buy. My recommendations always will be, get ABS, especially for new riders. ABS is pretty much a need, okay? You need it. Get it, because if you need it, it's better to have it than not have it. Get a quick shifter and blipper. You're gonna thank me for it. It's the most amazing feeling. And try to get something that does also have a 6-axis IMU. You'll notice. You'll notice how it feels riding with it, and it's great. I love it. So, in conclusion, is the Z900 a good beginner bike? Yes, but with a nuance, and the nuance being only because of the safety features. If this bike came with no safety features, I would say clearly no. The Z900 is not a beginner bike. But because of the fact that this has so much going for it, there really isn't much you can do wrong, okay? Yeah, and if you want to do that, buy this bike. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.